Hello again. Welcome back to day 3 of how to feel authentic and confident in any situation. So I hope you've been getting a lot out of the first 2 practices. We're going to build on those a little bit today, and we're going to add in some fun new stuff. So the first thing I want to share with you is a little bit of research that was done at Harvard by Amy Cuddy, who is a social psychologist. And she did this study that she talks about in her TED Talk. So if you're familiar with TED, T-E-D, talks online, look up Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y. It's a phenomenal talk. And what she did in her study was that they found that having somebody hold a high power position, which is making yourself big and taking up a lot of space, for just 2 minutes had a 20% increase, created a 20% increase in participants' testosterone and a 15% decrease in their cortisol levels. So the 20% increase in testosterone, that's your dominance hormone. That's how powerful and how assertive you feel. 20% more of that after just 2 minutes of holding this position, along with the 15% decrease in cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So after just being big for 2 minutes, people are feeling chemically, biologically, a lot more confident, a lot more kind of dominant and assertive, and a lot less stressed. So think about how much that can help you to feel more relaxed and to feel more powerful as you go into any situations. So the flip side of that is that they also had different participants, holding a low power pose. Low power pose is simply making yourself small. So it can be crossing the legs, it can be crossing your arms over your chest. One of the lowest power positions they had was taking your hand onto your neck. So any of these small things were shrinking. And in those participants, they had a 10% decrease in their testosterone. So 10% less powerful, less dominant than when they started the experiment, and a 25% increase in their cortisol. A quarter more stressed than they were walking into the scenario simply by sitting and making themselves small for 2 minutes. So it's a really powerful study, and I love the application of it. Because as you're going into your interviews, as you're getting up in front of a group to speak, as you're walking into that blind date, remember these things. When you're getting ready to go into that scenario, are you crossing your legs? Are you sitting in a chair looking at your smartphone and being really small? Or is there a way that you can spread your body out a little bit, open yourself up and be big, just to get that increase in your testosterone and that decrease in your cortisol so you can feel comfortable, you can feel like you're in control, and you're not, up in your head and worried about every little thing that's going to happen. You can really be grounded and feel like you're in control of the situation. So I want to tie that piece in with the practices that we learned yesterday and the day before. So we're going to think movement and big today with this tip. So as you're on a stage, as you're going into that interview, if we lock ourselves up and sort of stiffen, we don't have any energy moving in our body anymore. We become a little bit rigid, and we tend to move towards that low power scenario. So once we get you big, and once we get everything moving the way that we want to before you walk in the door, you want to keep that energy going. So the first piece is to keep movement in your hips. And this can be really simple and it can be subtle, but just to kind of shift your weight into one hip and to be aware of not letting that become rigid. So letting yourself shift your weight and shift your weight as you're moving, as you're talking. It makes you a little more dynamic. It brings you to life, and it keeps you connected to that center point of the pelvis that we talked about on the first day. So when we can keep your hips moving, we're keeping energy moving in the center of your body, and that continually reminds your body, without you having to think it so much, to stay centered, to stay grounded, to stay connected, and to be in the lower part of your body. So just that simple movement is enough, takes care of it. The other piece, of course, is the opening of the chest. So with your movements, think of letting your chest sort of relax and open and soften. A lot of the times when we get nervous, if you check in with your body and you do a quick scan, we'll feel a lot of tension and a lot of constriction in the upper body. That's just our natural kind of guarding response. So as you're speaking, especially if you're in front of a group on a stage, as you're speaking, let your body move. Let it kind of loosen up with your gestures and think bigger than you think is comfortable for you, certainly. So it takes a little getting used to, but your audience wants to see that you're alive, that you have some energy going in your body, and your movements and your taking up of space is what's going to help communicate that and keep your body calm and comfortable in the process. Really powerful, really simple, and it's hugely effective. This will have a huge impact in the way that you come across and in the way that you feel when you're in those situations that challenge you most. So if this is interesting to you, if you've gotten something out of these tips, which I hope that you have, I hope these are really going to make a difference in the way you move through your world, I would love to invite you to stay tuned. You should be on my email list, so you'll be getting upcoming information for a program that I'm putting together that goes a little more in depth into these 3 tips. It's going to be a program that's local in the Chicago area, so if you're around, I'd love to have you join us. It'll be a small group of women and an intimate setting where you can explore the different pieces. We'll go into depth. You'll have your questions answered on how to work all of these pieces into your own body, into your own movements, and have them really be an integrated part of how you walk through your world. So take these tips, practice them, share them with your friends, keep working them into all the things that you're doing, and I really hope that this helps you to be seen in a big way, helps you attract the attention you're looking for personally and professionally, and helps you get your causes noticed. All of the things that you're doing that matter in this world, I hope you'll be helped by the things you've learned in these 3 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.